Many people have experienced burnout during the pandemic, and that's especially true for singles in the dating world. According to a recent survey, 4 out of 5 say they're experiencing emotional fatigue due to online dating. Joining us now is local professional matchmaker Kelly Numair from It's Just Lunch, San Francisco, with the top tips to battle just this. Kelly, thanks so much for joining us on Live in the Bay.
Thank you for having me again, Olivia.
So happy to have you. And talk a little bit about this dating fatigue. What is dating fatigue?
So what happened was, during the pandemic, online dating took a massive spike. Due to months of social distancing, a lot of singles craved the comforts and support of others and took to online dating to find that. While it was really fun and exciting at the beginning, it soon became more of a job and more of a chore, and a lot of people got burnt out by it. There's actually a really interesting data that came through that when you're on one of these dating apps for approximately 45 minutes, you've swiped by, get this, almost 2,000 people. So that's just mass. So it's became a little bit of a needle in a haystack, and more singles are coming off online dating and getting a little bit more focused and hiring a matchmaker.
And what are some signs for people to recognize at home if they are going through dating fatigue?
So there are several signs. So if you're feeling like this is more of a part-time job, then fun. Dating should be fun. It should be exciting. You should be getting excited to go out on your date, getting dressed up to go on your date, to go meet that person. If you're feeling like you're dreading it, or you cannot go on one of these apps and swipe, or you're feeling a little bit, just kind of burnt out by it, then you definitely need to take a step back. Then I'm having a lot of conversations with my clients at It's Just Lunch that they are starting to question themselves. My clients are amazing, and they're intelligent and beautiful and, smart, and they are questioning themselves. When you start questioning yourself and who you are, and you're getting lost in translation with that, then you definitely need to take a step back also. And then if you're going out on a string of dates that are leading to nowhere, you're spending a lot of time texting back and forward, you're not getting out on real dates, then it's time to come off.
Oh my goodness. Well, I can see just that alone how that can be a problem. Now, you mentioned too much messaging, right, when it comes to dating fatigue. How does that tie into it?
So there's a lot of, when you're going on these apps, there's a lot of messaging back and forward, a lot of conversation that is leading to nowhere, the road to nowhere, and it's just a lot of time. Studies show that the average person in the Bay Area is spending roughly 25 hours a week on online dating to get...
Really?
Yeah.
Just in the Bay Area alone?
In this area alone, they're spending roughly 25 hours a week to get some sort of success. So I'm having these conversations not just with my clients. I'm having these conversations with my friends. I'm having these conversations with my family. When I started out in matchmaking 20 years ago, there was 2 online dating apps. There was Match.com and there was eHarmony.
I remember both of those too.
Right? And when people went on there back then, the intentions were pure and true and sweet and genuine, and it was result orientated, and people were getting married. I have family members and friends that have gotten married through these sites, but fast forward to today's climate, there are almost 1,500 online dating apps and websites. So where do you even begin?
And for you, you are a professional matchmaker, and you're seeing some of these problems probably on a daily basis, like you said, with clients, friends, and family. What are some of the tips, Kelly, that you can provide people to overcome some of this dating fatigue?
Yeah, again, I'm having this conversation on the daily.
Yeah.
And so if you're feeling burnt out, first of all, what you got to do is you got to take a step back. And you got to give yourself time to kind of regroup and get yourself centered again. And then when you're ready to get back out there, I tell my clients and friends all the time, like, you have to get to a place where you would date yourself. So I always say, look in the mirror and ask yourself this question.
I like that. That's great.
Would I date me? And if the answer is no, you got to get it to yes.
Yeah.
And then you're ready to go out and start dating. So give yourself that time, get to the yes, and then really be clear on where you want to go and who you want to go there with, right? So think about that. And then be a little bit more open-minded. There are two types of relationships that occur. There is that instant love at first sight, butterflies in the tummy, all the feels, all the things, and that's what we want as society. And that's what we want. We want that instant gratification. However, there's another relationship that occurs. It's one that develops over time. So when you go into that date, don't really prejudge. Like, get to know them. Don't judge a book by its cover. You know, soon the date's rolling along and you're feeling that this person is becoming more attractive as the conversation is going on. You're on the fence about a second date. You go out on a second date. You like them even more. And before date number 5, you think this person is the hottest person on planet Earth and you're getting married. So don't really prejudge, right? You know, give that person a chance to shine and get to know each other.
Well, Kelly, you've been a matchmaker for over 20 years.
Yeah.
What are some of the results that you've seen from your clients when they've taken this advice and been more open-minded and, you know, decided I could date me?
I see it happening every day, right? So sometimes my clients put themselves in a box and they want this and this and this and this and this. And then I'll call them and say, hey, you know what? I know that you said that you definitely don't want this, but please trust me. I know who you are. I know what you want. I know where you want to go, and this person's for you. And they call me 6 months down the line and say they just got engaged in Napa this past weekend or Tahoe this past weekend. So, you know, don't put yourself in a box. Be a little bit more open-minded. But, you know, you should really understand what you really do want without having a giant laundry list.
Incredible. Well, thank you so much, Kelly, for joining us here on Live in the Bay and giving us some tips on how to overcome this dating fatigue.
Thank you for having me.
For more information, you can head to itsjustlunchsanfrancisco.com. And, of course, we'll also have a link on our website at liveinthebay.tv.